So you want to watch the weird, wacky, and overly complicated series that is Monogatari, huh? Well, I don't blame you. It's been a white whale of mine for a very long time. And I finally did the thing. So what did I learn? Well, to be honest, I don't know, but I'm going to tell you everything I possibly can. What's it about? How to watch it? What to look out for? What to know? These are all reasonable questions anyone who wants to dive into such a big franchise like this one will ask. Don't worry, this anime goes way too deep for me to give you any true spoilers, so I'll be keeping it light and giving you the bare bones. And without further ado, let's begin. The Monogatari series revolves around high schooler Koyomi Araragi, who encounters different girls with these problems. And look, these problems heavily lean on the supernatural side. You know, ghosts, beasts, spirits, things like that. But he puts it to himself to try to help these girls as much as humanly possible. While Monogatari does have some action, and I mean some, it's more of a character-driven story where dialogue is king, and the real true part of this series that matters is the characters, like Koyomi Araragi, and those that he meets along the way. Now, if you want to dive into this series, the only way, and I mean the only way to start, is to watch Bakemonogatari. Look, it's the first light novel in the series where we get introduced to Araragi and the main plot of this entire series. Now, you could watch Kizumonogatari, which serves as a prequel of sorts to even Bakemonogatari, but note that it's not really the true natural entry point into this entire Monogatari franchise. So it's best to watch Bakemonogatari for that true natural entry point. Now, from Bakemonogatari, there are multiple ways you can continue watching this series. The anime release order, chronological order, or even the English light novel order. But the true way, the really true way of watching this series is to do it the way that the author intended for it. And that is the correct way. Now I'm going to show you a screen that tells you how to watch these anime in order. The first season, as I mentioned, watch Bakemonogatari, then go to Kizumonogatari, then Nisei Monogatari, and then Neko Monogatari Black. For the second season, watch Monogatari second season episodes 1 through 11, then Hana Monogatari, and then go back to Monogatari second season for episodes 12 through 26. Then for that final season, watch Suki Monogatari, Koyomi Monogatari, then Owari Monogatari, and then Zoku Owari Monogatari. Now, the other 3 seasons do have light novels attached, which you can read, but the anime adaptations are not complete yet. But I'm going to go through them just so you can see. For off-season, you have Oroku Monogatari, then you have Waza Monogatari, then Nade Monogatari, and Musubi Monogatari. Then for monster season, you have Shinobu Monogatari, Yui Monogatari, Amari Monogatari, Ogi Monogatari, Shino Monogatari, and then the family season, Ikusa Monogatari. And Ikusa Monogatari is still being published as we speak. Now, there is an anime series that came out in 2024 called Monogatari Off in Monster Season, which is going to tackle those 2 seasons in its entirety. But note that the first season is complete and there are still more seasons to come from that series, so we are nowhere near done yet there. Monogatari is a light novel series based on the brilliant mind of Nishio Isin. I mean, the man's pen name is a freaking palindrome, for goodness sake. At 20 years old, he won the Mephisto Prize, which is a very big mystery writer prize in Japan. It's equivalent to the Edgars here in America. He's renowned for his complex linguistic puns, his writing speed, and the many Japanese references he throws in his works. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of it. His writing style is a master class of dialogue scenes where the characters talk a lot. And the beauty of how he uses narration in between these scenes to progress the story is just something that it's really hard to understand for me to grasp, but I can appreciate the beauty in his writing and the fact that he does put all this effort into his style, and it works. The top tier animation of the Monogatari series comes from the legendary studio called Shaft. I know, once some of y'all get your minds out of the gutter.
Shame!
This studio is known for making some really good anime, like Quella Magi, Madoka Magica, and even March Comes in Like a Lion. If you've seen any of those two anime, then you'll know just how amazing this studio is. The designs are so crisp and clean, and even when they use widescreen format sometimes, it just gives that cinematic feel that can't be understated. This is a series about the characters, and their features mean a lot, so you have to make sure you animate it to perfection, and they do just that. The eye fixations, the body pans, the head tilts that the studio has become well known for, remember, that all started with Bakemonogatari. You'll also see photorealistic shots when combined with that traditional anime really makes this franchise that much more unique. You'll love the beautiful animation of the series, but I know for me, a personal favorite is Kizu Monogatari because I just love that darker tone and the shadowiness of that series, and combining with that cinematic widescreen format just made it look so much more cooler than some of the others, in my opinion. But hey, you may have a different idea on what you love. Throughout an episode, you'll see flashes of color with very small text, and I'm telling you, you're gonna be like, what? Usually the text is taken from excerpts from the light novel itself, and they usually describe a setting or a character's thoughts. However, it'll be useless to you unless you're well versed in Japanese. Don't fret, because all you really need to do is pay attention to the color, because that will really give you the mood of the moment. One of my favorite parts is the many references you'll find throughout an episode. Hollywood movies, Renaissance paintings, and my personal favorite, other anime, are referenced so much throughout the Monogatari series. And look, if you are a JoJo fan, you're going to be exceptionally excited. It is Nisio Isen's favorite anime after all. There is plenty of wordplay within this anime series. If you can understand it, you'll have a fun time. But note, some are less complicated than others. For example, the titles of each anime throughout the series has its own meaning, and we can look at the first one, Bakemonogatari. Bake means ghost, and Monogatari means story. So in turn, Bakemonogatari means ghost story. And look, you can look at every other anime in this series and be able to at least get a deciphering of what that series will be about in the loosest of terms, and I mean loosest. I'll leave it to you to figure out the rest when you're ready to go down that rabbit hole. Now you're going to see a lot of blood, gore, and fan service, unfortunately. That's not all. It gets heavier with topics like child abuse, depression, and sexual assault. The storytelling is confusing, and the reason behind it is that it's purposely told out of order. Why is that? Let's just say it's important to piece the narrative together that way, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, the OPs change with each story arc within a series, and that can be about 2 or 3 episodes long. They're not only fun, but they do represent the focus character for that next story arc. So it gives you like a little sneak preview into what to expect. And look, if you look closely enough, you'll be able to maybe find out some personality traits about that character. The Monogatari series is a wonderful experience that any anime fan should at least try to watch. Now, your mileage may vary on the experience. After all, I'm still trying to figure out what the heck this series is about. But look, I enjoy it for what it is, and I think just embracing all the weird and quirkiness of Monogatari is really half the battle, if not more of the battle, than actually understanding it. And look, I appreciate just the fact that we can have something as beautiful as this exist. Thanks for watching. If you just can't get enough of me and want to show some love and support, please like this video, subscribe. It really does help. And let's get to that first stage, guys. 1,000 subscribers. Now, have a great day, a great night, a great morning, wherever it is, wherever you are, and don't forget, Kokishin Amote Kudasai.